And now, it's RFL Emmy Award-winning Richard French live.
Nearly 20 years after the idea of charter schools first caught on in low-income neighborhoods, the concept of choice in public education, it is at a crossroads. Now, supporters say, hey, these schools, they've given parents access to a better education for their kids, and in the process have pushed traditional public schools to improve as well. But opponents, and there are many, they say that these free market schools have taken badly needed funds from the traditional system, and they are dangerously unregulated. State of New York, they have to make their own choice. If the cap on the number of charter schools is not lifted this year, the state will miss out on $700 million in aid from the Obama administration. Now, for more on this debate and a look inside a charter school, I want to bring in Regina Orsania.
Oh, Rich, there are now over 4,000 charter schools nationwide, and they're at the center of the debate over the future of public education in America. I spent time inside one charter school in Brooklyn to see what makes them different from your traditional public school. Take a look. Getting a spot at a charter school for some families can be like hitting the lottery.
I got a phone call indicating that my child was number one, and I could not tell you the thought I won lotto. I started shaking and crying and carrying on, but I am so happy. I feel so blessed that my child was chosen.
When I actually got the message, I just ran through the house screaming. It's an understatement to say we were overwhelmed.
To get into a charter school, parents must apply. Students are chosen by lottery, and the spots are highly coveted. As it stands right now, 50,000 kids are on the waiting list in New York alone.
Why are so many parents so anxious to get their children into a charter school these days?
Well, I think the bottom line is choice. Many of our families have, just a handful of options as neighborhood schools that they're not having the type of experience they would want to have with their neighborhood school.
Lizette Suxo is the principal of Achievement First Bushwick Charter School in Brooklyn. At first glance, it looks like a private school. The kids wear uniforms and follow strict rules. But Bushwick is a charter and your tax dollars pay for it, just like a public school. Like all charter schools, Bushwick is privately run and can create their own curriculum. Theirs is designed to push the idea of college from the time a child enters kindergarten. You can see this from the names of the grade levels, to the names of the classrooms, to the academic achievements hanging on the wall. Bushwick is also, like most charters, small, urban, and non-unionized, and has the ability to operate under its own guidelines.
At our charter school, we offer an extended school year. We offer an extended school day, as well as, from my perspective, we have the autonomy to make decisions about our school, our curriculum, what our programs look like, what our staffing choices are like.
But with that autonomy comes accountability. If a charter school does not show results, it gets shut down.
Every charter school is under a 5-year contract, and you have to have results that you can prove that we are doing better by students, and we are getting them to grade standards and mastery. And the fact is that there have been nearly a dozen charter schools over the last dozen years that have not demonstrated that and face closure and have been closed.
Most states limit the number of charter schools. New York's cap is 200. But Mayor Bloomberg wants more, in part because charters are considered more cost-effective. Each student costs the state about $5,000 to $8,000 less than a traditional public school student. President Obama also supports charter schools. He is ready to give New York $700 million if the state agrees to increase its cap to over 400.
There are phenomenal traditional schools. There are phenomenal charter schools. There are poor traditional schools. There are poor charter schools. As a country, we just need more high-performing schools.
But there are some, like New York City Councilman Robert Jackson, who oppose raising the cap on charter schools. The reason, he says, the state's traditional public schools will suffer.
If only parents, that are interested in moving their kids out of the traditional public schools to the charter school, and those are parents that are more engaged in their children's education than the ones that are left. So you don't think you're getting the cream of that particular school? If you say no, then I think you're being unrealistic.
In addition to pulling good students away from traditional public schools, Jackson says charter schools are highly unregulated, which means teachers and students could be taken advantage of.
Knowing that you're working from 7 a.m. in the morning to 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, and then you have to deal with phone calls from students and parents and what have you, and then knowing that every other Saturday you have to work a half a day, it's very, very difficult. Number two, they say we take all students. I have been told, as the chair of the education committee, from charter school parents, that they coach students that are undesirable or they can't meet their needs. They don't throw them out. They sort of softly coach them out.
But still, some parents say they deserve the right to choose what's best for their children.
I don't know why the city schools, have become what they've become, and I don't know what the uproar on fighting charter schools is all about, because here's a chance to improve, a chance to catch up, a chance to compete, and a chance to get the same education, which is what it comes down to. You want your kid in a safe environment, a good education, and you don't want second best.
Well, most of the elected officials, they've had a choice for their kids. They made a conscious choice to put their kid in the best school that they had available, whether it was public or private or parochial. Why should the parents in the city of New York or in the state of New York get any less than that? Why shouldn't they too be able to make a choice about what is best for their child?
Now, in order to get the $700 million race for the top federal funding this year, the legislature has to vote yes on raising the charter school cap before the session ends, which is on June 21st. Rich?
Well, thank you very much, Regina. And while this debate continues in New York City, we want you at home to sound off on the future of public education. Now, we're going to be coming back to this topic on RFL real soon, and we're going to be getting your reaction, phone lines, and online. But already to get this dialogue going, we've opened up a page on our message board, and we want to know if you think that charter schools are the future of public education or if they are instead hurting public schools. We especially want to hear from you teachers, administrators, and parents out there.